Hi, I'm Carla Ankiah. I'm the Chief Strategy and Impact Officer at Autism Assistance Dogs Ireland, otherwise known as AADI. I'm here today to talk to you about a social media idea. So AADI was founded in 2010, and in October 2017, I joined the charity as a fundraising manager. And this was my challenge. Income had flatlined, but the demand had increased phenomenally since the charity was founded. And it was at the point where there really was no end in sight with the waiting list. And yet we were still getting calls every week from parents who were just desperate for our support. So there was this huge need for really fast growth, but very limited budget. In fact, we were living month to month, and it was just me and a few volunteers at the time. I firmly believe that there's no problems, only challenges and solutions. So after a few months of finding my feet and quite a bit of trial and error, I'd come to the conclusion that traditional fundraising methods were not going to allow me to grow the income at the speed I needed it to grow at when I had a starting point of pretty much no budget and no resources. So I came up with a social media idea. And the idea was that growing investment in social media would lead to donations increasing, and that would then allow for evolution in fundraising and ultimately advancement towards AADI's vision. So here you can see how our ad spend has grown year on year and how that investment has grown. So in 2017, we spent a grand total of €178. And last year we spent over 60,000, and this year we'll probably spend more again. But it's not the only investment that we've been making. We've been making ongoing investments in learning and testing because of the speed at which social media evolves. We've also been investing in our communities on social platforms, and in particular the stewardship of those communities, and creating engaging content for those communities and to attract more supporters and more followers of our channels. And then finally, super tools like GivePanel. We invest in tools that help us do our jobs more efficiently and ultimately better. So talking about donations and how they've grown, before I show you how much they've grown, let's talk about where they've come from. So initially, the idea was that we would use social media to increase awareness, and we'd use ads and organic content to bring people to landing pages for them to take action. But that changed slightly when Facebook launched their giving tools, and thankfully we were one of the early adopters. So we started to see birthday fundraisers, and they steadily increased throughout 2018 and 2019. And then in March 2019, we invested in GivePanel, and that was to support the stewardship of those fundraisers and also to get the most out of the data that was available. In 2019, we actually also began to promote Facebook fundraising tools to fundraisers of particular in-person events that were fundraising for us or participating in events that we were running. And the reason being is we'd identified like significant advantages to having fundraisers create their pages directly on social channels as opposed to third-party platforms. We ran our first of many Facebook challenges in March 2020, and then finally the donate button. We see this increase with specific ad campaigns and certain organic content. So this is what those investments look like in reality. The blue line at the bottom is our ad spend. But as you can see, our income has grown significantly in line with the increased investments. So we've gone from 150,000 back in 2017 to 1,044,000 last year. We should see significant increase again this year. So that's shown on the yellow line on the graph, and you can see the red line in the middle is actually income directly from Facebook and Instagram. So you see in 2020, bit of an anomaly because of COVID. So there was a lot happening. We concentrated our efforts on social media. And then last year, especially kind of summer onwards last year, we started concentrating on bringing supporters from our social media channels to support us in other ways. So we concentrated on things like regular giving acquisition and corporate support and things like that. But that was all done through advertising on social media. So we've broadened our marketing basically. And that's something that we are going to continue to do and continue to build on, because diversity means sustainability. So we've really utilised the halo effect that social media has. In the early days, we would see increases in community fundraising. We would get calls from corporates that we never would have had before, where they'd be ringing us and saying that we'd been voted for a partnership. So we use those learnings to pinpoint audiences that we could target, or identify campaigns that we could push. And we use those then last year in terms of ads then to bring in income from other areas. So we've developed a really strong learning and innovation culture within the organisation, and in particular the fundraising team. That's now a team. It's no longer just me. We're very small, but it's not just me. And I can't stress this enough. Everyone is on social media. Your company CEOs, your CSR leads, the employees that might vote for you in Charity of the Year, your major donors, your regular givers, they're all there, including thousands of potential supporters that just haven't discovered you yet. So in terms of advancement, we now have 4 times the number of staff, 4 times the number of puppies in training, increasing income diversity, and growing communities offline and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more recently, TikTok. By 2024, we will be in a position to place 45 assistance dogs per year. Prior to our social media idea, we placed 4 to 6. So I've had some revelations over the last few years, and the first one being that investment isn't a one-time thing. You have to keep investing and building on your investments. If you put out an ad campaign, you need to optimize it, you need to monitor it. Your social media communities are important and influential. To get the most out of them, you need to nurture them. And a recent revelation was that our opted-in contacts on our database have grown tenfold in 4 years. I now have a donor database. So thank you. I'm friendly and I love to chat, so please reach out to me if you have questions.